Hello everyone, good morning. I'm Wang Yufei, and I'm really excited to share with you today the topic of instructional video design driven by Multimedia learning theory. This presentation would be filled with accumulated theoretical jargon instead. It focuses on five core models that you can actually apply in practice. First, the three fundamental cognitive theories that support design. So you will understand why we design this way. Second, for actionable personal for video application, teaching you how to do it specifically. Then we will look at some real life case comparing the difference between good and bad design, and how to improve them. After that, we will point out the four most common pitfalls in design and their corresponding solutions. Finally, we will talk about industry trends and useful practical tools. Let's start with some salt data. Back in 2023 year, there were already over 70,000 MOOCs in China, and the Makelin's resource exceeded 10 million on a more number. But do you know what? The proportion of learners who can finish watching this resource is exceeding low. Only 3%, 15%. Why is that? I'm sure many of you have had such experience. Some instructional videos have fancy animations, but after watching them, you have no idea what they are talking about. The information is as messy as a ball of yarn. Others have teachers speaking so fast that just as you catch up, they jump to the next knowledge point, leaving you no time to process it. Even more common is the mismatch between text and image. They are talking about complete different things, which only desert you. In fact, the root cause of these problems is that when design, we didn't consider everyone's cognitive loss. We were too focused on purpose and technogrammar falling into the technology show-off trap. In the end, there's too much messy information and learners can't handle it. That's what we call information overload, which is the core problems affecting learning outcomes. To solve these problems, we need to start with the theories. The first core theory is during coding. 3. This theory is actually very easy to understand. It says that our brains how to present systems that work independently but can also compare with each other. One is a visual system, which specially processes things like words, text, and narration in videos. The other is a non-verbal system, which is responsible for processing visual content, such as images, diagrams, and animations. There's experimental evidence to prove this. For the same content, processing it with a combination of pictures and text results in a 65% better memory effect than just reading text alone. If the pictures and text not only match but also achieve segment coherence and synchronous presentation. Comprehension is 15% better than when they are analyzed. This provides the most direct basis for designing the text margin combination in our videos. Don't just pure up text and don't randomly match pictures. We need to make the two works well together. And the last one is Miller's cognitive load theory. It mainly tells us that the human brain's ability to process information is limited. We can't cram too many things in at once. Otherwise, it will jam. These three divide the brain's burden into three types. The first is a transient load, the most useless burden caused by poor design, such as coded interference, mismatch, text and images, and redundant information. The solution is simple. Simply leave the interface, integrate text and image and delete useful contact. The second is interest load. This comes from the content itself. For example, some knowledge points are inherently complex and hard to understand. At this time, we can't just eat them regularly. We have to split them into small models so that everyone can digest them bit by bit. The third is German's load. This is a good burden, a necessary effort to help everyone build a knowledge system and from their own understanding. For example, asking everyone guarding questions to let them take the initiative to think and integrate knowledge. Only they can truly learn. The last one is smaller connective load through. It mainly tells us that the human brain's ability to process information is limited. We can't cram too many things in at once. Otherwise, it will jam. This is through divide the brand into three types. The first is intern, internals load, the most useless burden caused by poor design, such as coded interface, mismatches text and images, and redundant information. The solution is simple. Simple left interface, integrate text and image. Well, delete useless contact. The second is intrinsic load. This comes from the content itself. For example, some knowledge points are intelligent, complex, and hard to understand. At this time, we can't just teach them readily, we have to split them into small models so that everyone can digest them bit by bit. The third is genius load. This is a good burden, a necessary effort to help everyone build a knowledge system and from their own understanding. For example, asking everyone guiding question to let them take invited to think and integrate knowledge. Only they can truly learn. Based on the three truths we just talked about, we have summarized a simple path from through to practice. Three words: adapt, reduce, activate. Let's start with adapt. Our video design should fit the characteristics of the brain's dual-channel processing, allowing the verbal and nonverbal system to play their respective roles and compete with each other to activate one another, so that information processing is inefficient. And then there's reduce. The crown is to get rid of the usually expressed load, keep the interface clean, delete redundant information, and don't make everyone struggle to filter out useless stuff while watching the video. Finally, activate. We can't let anyone watch the video passively. We need to guide everyone to take the initiative to think through interactive questions and reflections. Connecting the nearly learned knowledge with that already know, building their own knowledge system. Here's design material for you. Less is more. Presence beats global. Guidance beats lectures. We make videos not to show off technology, but to let everyone learn and remember. This is a core goal. When making instructional videos, it's easy to fall into conflict. Either we only focus on making the video look good, but in the end, everyone can't remember the knowledge points, or we only purpose learning effects, making the video dry and boring, so no one wants to watch it. So the core is to balance connective effects and visual appeal. We have summarized a balance formula: 17% connective adaptation and 30% moderate appeal. This means that most of the design should focus on helping everyone learn, such as text image matching and duration control. This is the 70% core. The remaining 30% can be used to enhance visual appeal, making the video less boring. But we must never put the cart before the horse and sacrifice learning effects for good looks. To help everyone grasp this balance, we also have a design compass, which mainly revolves around the learner's connection. Covering four key dimensions: text image matching, connective load, modulated use, and interactive design. Every time you design, you can check against it to ensure that your choice promotes learning results than just looking good. Next, let's talk in detail about the foreground design principles. The first is the text image coherence principle, which comes from Duran Coding's rule and Meyer cognitive principle. The core requirement is that text and images must be highly matched in terms of content. The image should actually experience the meaning of the text, no mismatch between text and image. In terms of time and space, the text should follow the image. When the image appears, the corresponding text should also appear in a timely manner, and it should be placed next to the image, so that everyone doesn't have to look around with their eyes. The second principle is cognitive load reduction. And here are three practical slicing muscles that you can use directly. The first is temporal selecting. Control a single video to 5 and 10 minutes, and keep the narration speed and 180 and 200 words per minute. Data shows that when the video duration exceeds 15 minutes, the probability of learners giving up half increased by 16%. So never make a legends video. The second is contact selecting. Each video only covers 2 and 3 core contacts. More than that, it's hard to remember. Use the use the third tool of first explain the concept. To give example, finally do finally to access so that everyone can digit step by step. The third is direction selecting. Delete those utilize animations, background music that set the mood, and fancy transmission effects if you can. These things only distract attention and are not helpful for learning. The key is to leave space and time for cross contact. The third principle is modality matching, which comes from connective flow-through. The goal is to let the visual and audition channels divide the work and complete it, so that channel isn't overloaded. We can arrange it like this. The visual channel mainly displays interactive things like images and diagrams, plus a little key text. Don't paper up to much text. Otherwise, the eyes can't keep up. The auditory channel is responsible for explaining cross concepts, the connections between data and the details of the content through narration. With this comparison, the brain can process much more easily, and there won't be a situation where the eyes are busy watching, the ears are busy listening, and in the end, nothing is remembered. The fourth principle is interactive gardens, which is based on rhetoric's generative learning through. The crown is to let everyone learn actively instead of passively. Browsing videos. Here are 3 low-cost and useful interactive textures. The first is a macro pause after explaining an important knowledge point. Pause for 3 and 5 seconds to give everyone time to read, take notes, and above the second is embedding small questions with instant feedback, such as multi-choice question and true and false questions. Insert a few in the medium of the video and everyone can see the answer and expression embedded after choosing. Data shows that aiding this kind of interaction can increase in everyone's memory relation rate by 20-15%. The third is collectible progress notes and activation. For example, mark one core concept to case analyze in the video. Everyone can jump directly to the party they want to watch and review easily. which can better meet the learning results of different people. Remember, these four principles are not isolated. You can't use just one and ignore the other. They compete with each other and work synergistically. Moreover, for different types of videos, the focus of the principles is different. For example, for knowledge explanation videos, such as explaining mathematical formulas of historical events, the focus should be on tight image, coherence, and reducing cognitive load. First, explain the knowledge points clearly and make them easy to remember. For skill demonstration videos, such as how to use software or conduct experiments, we need to focus on strengthening modality, matching, and integrated guidance, so that everyone can see the operation steps clear and practice along with the instructions. In addition, I will share practical design workflow with you. Follow it and you won't get confused. Step 1. First, analyze on how complex the knowledge to be taught is, such as whether it's a simple concept or a hard to understand practical. Step 2. That marries the connective load that everyone can bear. Don't, don't exceed the brain's processing capacity. Step 3. Based on the pre-analyzed, formulate a test image matching strategy. Step 4. Choosing appropriate interrogation notes, such as where to add question after a knowledge point or where to pause. Step 5. Embed guidance elements such as prompting everyone to think and guiding the to-do exercise. By following these steps, you can ensure that the designed video not only conforms to theories but also meets practice needs. Finally, let's summarize the four most common pitfalls in instructional video design. You can check if you are falling into any of them. The first pitfall is over-person visual glamour, focusing on imagery, on making gorgeous animations and complex traditions, while ignoring the logic and the relevance of information. As a result, the video looks good but has no substantial contact. The second pitfall is legends and mass contact, cramming 7 or 8 core concepts into a video without any, any purpose. Everyone's brain can remember everything. While waiting, it gets more and more trained and finally, they just give up. The third pitfall is analyzing text and images. For example, the image is about knowledge point A, but the text and the narration are about knowledge point B, or improper use of visual and audition channels, such as making everyone listen to long paragraphs of text, or letting everyone read text descriptions for complex operations, which is completely inconsistent with the brain's processing habits. The fourth pitfall is lack of interactive Gardens, the video is just the teacher talking from start to finish, with no questions or persons. Everyone can only listen closely, unable to link active and forget everything after learning. In fact, these protests are not scary as long as we apply the three cognitive truths and four design personal ways talking about today. We can slow them one by one. Today's sharing is almost over, and the crown is very simple. Use cognitive Use cognitive tools to create video design, balance learning efficacy and visual appeal, and make instructional video truly help everyone improve learning efficiency instead of becoming an inefficient resource that no one watches and no one remembers. Finally, Finally, thank you for taking the time to listen to my sharing.